So I know that so far the season hasn't gone the way that a lot of Sooner fans want it to go. And it's granted, I understand. Now, we all know that in the second year of a coaching regime, traditionally you don't have this many wins in a row. You don't go this far, especially when you've seen 80% turnover or more of players and trying to redo things. But the good thing about the era of the transfer portal is you can sometimes see instant gratification. And we saw that early for the Sooners. Now, statistically, every week we usually go through the numbers on what the team looks like compared to teams of year past, especially the 2000 team, because we were on that same trajectory, but with back-to-back losses, we aren't there anymore. But I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that there's still something to play for, because program guy Drake Stoops reminded you all of that, and I'm hoping that you are riding behind them, and I'm going to show you the reason why there's still something to play for. But before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank you all for pulling up to the channel. It's been a crazy week for me, so I apologize. This normally comes out earlier in the week, but hey, maybe a day late, but we ain't $1 short. So we're going to make the magic happen here. We're going to look at those numbers like we always do. We're going to put those in perspective and understand, are we different? Are we the same? Have we regressed to the mean? Are we on a downward slope? Can we bounce back? All of those questions will be answered as we talk through this, because I want to put this in the mind of you Sooner fans and college football fans in general, that when you're doing a rebuild and you're retooling yourself, as long as you have enough pieces in place and you're making the right steps that you need to make to be successful, those incremental steps, being better 1% each day, even if you falter back a couple of percentages down the line, keep getting better 1% of the day, you're going to get the fruits of that labor. And I think a good example, if you go look at what Mike Norvell has done at Florida State, I'm going to talk about that more on Bleacher Report tomorrow, so you can check us out when we do our prediction roundtable. But he didn't start off very good at Florida State, and look at him now. They're making a run, and they're looking quite dominant in conference going forward. And so let's talk about what our program guy, Drake Stoops, had to let everybody know. He gave a little speech in the interview on the 6th, and now that I'm back, I want to play that for you all to remind you that they still got a lot to play for. Let's hear him.
There's still a lot to play for this season, right?
Of course.
People want to act like there isn't. You see it a lot.
Who's people?
The fans, overreactionary.
All right, well, that's natural, but I come in here day in and day out, spend 10 hours up here every day, and for me, there's a lot left to play for, and I bust my tail year-round for this for 6 years now, so I'm not really listening to what people say.
As long as you have games to play, you have something to play for.
Yeah. I don't care if we're 0-8 right now. I'm playing ball because I love to play football. I love my teammates. I love my coaches. I love the University of Oklahoma. It's really that simple. I got a lot of pride for this place, so I'm going to go hard every single day and do everything I possibly can to see us win, and that's the end of it.
So y'all see, Drake Stoops still think we got time. Drake Stoops still feels like we've got something to play for, not only because he's a senior, this is the last opportunity to play ball. He still wants to play hard for his teammates, and as fans, we still root for this team no matter what. This year was not the expectation of undefeated national championship. It would have been a pleasant surprise. But a lot of you got your hopes up a lot more than you probably should have, me included. I did throw a little hopium at y'all. We were looking at the way they were going in trajectory, but let's talk about the changes we're seeing. So, numbers-wise, and that response was elite, though, by the way, by Drake, because he's pointing out to you all that these players still go out there 10 hours a day, busting their butt each week, and attrition has kicked our butt. We lost our top receiver, Nandrell Anthony. Danny Stutzman is out, our top defensive guy. Our corners and secondary has been banged up. We've been seeing a lot of injuries as of late. We lost our starting right guard who decided to come back early, so playing on a bummed ankle. We've still got that competitive depth. And we're still balling out, but at the same time, we still got a lot of things to work on, which is good because We're getting 1% better each time. So let's look at this. So first, offensively, let's look at that. Now, I know there's a lot of conversations around Lebby, and if you followed me, you know I've talked about the Jeff Lebby situation and my thoughts behind it. And it's not that, our offense is bad because, SP Plus, we're number 7 in the country for our offense. We're up there. Oh, and overall rankings, and a lot of them, we're ranging between 7 and 20. I'd say that the average is probably closer to about 11. Our offense is doing it. It's the situational stuff. But the way it looks is that we're kind of leaning closer to what we looked like last year. And statistically, we're looking very close to the 2012 team. Points per game, we're basically the exact same at 37.33 instead of 2.2. And we're getting it right about the same amount of first downs. But there was a good statistic that was put out on Twitter. I forgot who posted it. And it was more so how much time we're spending on the field. And our defense is spending roughly an entire possession less on the field than they were in the past. And our offense is getting better because of that. We've only allowed 11 sacks. But the thing is we're starting to dip down on that third down conversion. The last 3 games, we have struggled on third down. And that was one of our strongest things. And I feel like that may be the Andrell Anthony effect, losing him, because he was a key component of that. He's one of those receivers that gets the catch and he goes. He gets open, he makes separation. And now Jalil Farouk is the target by the defense. We've got the young guys of Nick Anderson as well as Jaden Gibson figuring out how to get themselves open. Drake Stoops always gets open, but it's a combination of, I feel like we don't trust the young players as much as we probably should. And so that's why you're probably seeing more of these jet sweeps and plays like that honestly are only good if you're already going vertical. But outside of that, numbers-wise, telling you all, statistically, this team's not bad. Over 300 passing yards a game, which is higher than last season. 22 touchdowns. We're about the same in rushing yards from the 2012 team. And we got 22 touchdowns. We need more. Fumbling the ball a little bit much. Passing, 10 total turnovers, which is pretty flipping good, right? And we're averaging about 490 yards on offense. And so offensively, we're doing some things. It's the situational stuff where the trust needs to be made. We've watched Dylan Gabriel do this in probably the biggest game of the year, period. Point blank, hands down. The Texas game, Red River, was the biggest game this year. And he came up in all the clutch moments. He made the right decisions on his scrambles. He made the right decision on his passes. Nobody's perfect, but he did everything he needed to do to get us that win. He's now enshrined as legendary. Y'all can question anything you want, question your mom on that one. DG is definitely up there because he put the team on the back and made it happen, especially after we saw injuries go down. Now, defensively, this is where I don't think everyone is in enough appreciation for what this defense is doing. Let's take a look at this. Defensively, we're still only giving up 18 points per game, which is close to the 2012 team. Much lower than we were last year. Less first downs, 20 to 24 from last season. 20 to 24. That's a massive gap in what we've been trying to do. We're getting teams off the team a little bit faster. 28% on third down conversions. Even with the bad games last week, we're still doing a really, really good job of getting the opposing team off the field on third. Those fourth downs, we've got to get better at. We haven't been very good on that as of late, but the last game we did real good. We're making their completion percentage lower at 58%. More yards. We're giving up more yards right now. That's something we've got to get better at on the pass game. We're giving up a lot of underneath in the zone. I've noticed that the most, and if you listen to me for a while, you know I've talked about it. The zone feels like where we are really giving up a lot of yards. And it's more so because we're playing a lot of young players. We're seeing Kip Lewis get game, Kobe McKenzie. They're figuring it out on the spot. And what does that do? It just makes us better going forward, baby. We're going to get better because of that. And we got more interceptions this year so far. Run game, we're giving up a lot less than we were last year. I'll say that. We're giving up more passing yards, but less runs, which is a really big deal. That means that we are forcing teams to throw the ball, and they're throwing a lot of underneath passes. And the good thing is we're doing a good job of trying to stop it. which is what makes me proud of this team. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that. I hate 2 losses in a row. My hopes were high. The hopium was up for me. But overall, this defense is putting up the numbers and doing what we're supposed to do to win games. Our offense in the clutch has not been able to contribute. And to be honest, I don't think that it's the players. I think it's just trusting them. We've got to do a better job of being aggressive. We got to do a better job of entrusting these players with these opportunities. So I am still high on this team. I'm going to still throw the hopium out. If we can settle down, get our top players back, and start trusting the young ones, if Nick Anderson keeps dropping them, keep throwing him the ball. Make him learn how to catch it. Emmett Jones has shown us he can do it. Get him and Jaden Gibson out there. Let them become those bookends with Jalil Farouk. Really leverage our size and speed and strong hands and make them get comfortable with catching the ball in the clutch. Nick got the game-winning tutty. But this 28% on third down attempts, guys, that's huge. The defense is doing their job. Now, we've got to stop the penalties. We've talked about it. The penalties got to stop. But numbers-wise, overall, we're doing what we're supposed to do. Even removing out the Arkansas State game where we won, 73-0, this team has still done a really good job. It's the last 3 weeks as attrition has been kicking our butt. We've got to get more focused, and the players know that. You listen to their pods, they'll tell you that. So, as we look at what this team is doing, hop in the comments, let your boy know what's your thoughts. Love to hear from you all on how you feel about this Sooner squad. Y'all know I am stoked and hyped that they're going to do something special long term. We're getting 1% better. That's all that matters, guys. That's all that matters. Stats of War put out his weekly numbers, and the one thing that jumped out to me with all of this is all we got to do is keep getting 1% better. I'll drop another video on that after this weekend, but guess what? This defense is night and day in comparison to last year. That's all that matters. If you made it this far, you like the content, hit the like button. You're new to the channel, subscribe. Talking a lot of OU football and college football. I'm going to get back to my pod. I promise you all it's going to come. It's just been crazy and timing hasn't been good for me, but I'm going to make that timing better. Probably going to have to move it from the Wednesdays because it appears that I'm probably going to have to just start doing it and dropping it on Mondays and make it happen for you on Sundays during NFL. So YouTube said check out one of these videos. I highly recommend it because, of course, I'm excited. We'll talk about West Virginia and the Oklahoma game tomorrow. I got a guess, and we're going to talk about that. We'll have that in the morning, and I'm going to look at the numbers for you all as well in that afternoon on how we compare with West Virginia going to this game, and let's get excited. We'll talk soon. Peace.